Before we begin, the information provided is for general educational purposes only and is not intended as medical advice. It does not replace consultant with a qualified healthcare professional. If you have a medical concern, diagnosis, or treatment question, you should consult your physician or another licensed healthcare provider.
And we are here and happening now. Welcome to the show, Carolina. How are you?
I'm good.
Awesome. We were just talking off camera that you're down in the valley areas down in South Texas near McAllen, right?
Yes.
And I've played down there a few times, and we just love that area. And in fact, I just missed a show down in Brownsville that we played while I was at Disney World. So that's a little bit further from you, but it's still the crowds down that way are amazing. So we love visiting South Texas.
Yes. Oh, I like Brownsville. It's so pretty. It's
Yeah,
about a 2-hour drive, I think.
that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Well, so tell me, we've been talking to each person this evening and kind of taking us back. Why don't you tell us how you first realized that you had triple negative breast cancer and how old were you?
So I was 37. I had to do the math, but yes, I was 37 and I knew before I was diagnosed, if that makes sense. How? Well, my aunt passed away from breast cancer in October of 2020, and November I had just turned 37, and she came in my dream that she was gonna take me. So I woke up crying and I felt a lump, and I knew like, oh no, like I just I just knew. I
It's
knew it
almost
was
like
breast
you,
cancer.
yeah, it was almost like you had a premonition or something, and she came
Yeah.
and helped you in your dream to know. I mean, it's funny, Carolina. I hear so many stories about how people realize they had breast cancer, like their dog jumps up and steps on that area, or is acting weird about that, or different things, and it's really amazing to me how the different ways you're reached to know about this. I'm hoping it sounds like that may have helped you find it sooner than you would have.
Um, Somewhat. It was hard only because it was during COVID. So to get a doctor's appointment was the hardest part. Once I got in there, I had to go to 3 different doctors before I actually got a diagnosis because they all kept saying I was young. And I kept telling them, my aunt just passed away of breast cancer. My mom cancer had just come back. She had ovarian the first time, and then I'm not too sure what it was called, but they also said she had like leukemia, and that's what had come. It had come back because she no longer had her ovaries. So that was the beginning of November. My aunt comes in my dream. By Thanksgiving, I had already told my sister, and I'm like, we need to like get the ball rolling. I went to the first doctor. They're like, no, you're too young. You can't
Well,
have it.
we were talking about that a little bit with the last guest that you really do have to be an advocate for your own health because no one's going to take better care of you than you, and it's so important to if you feel like something's going on, you really have to drive it home, and that's a common thing that happens is people say you're too young. Like I was 41 and my doctor was surprised, but I'm glad that you stayed on top of that. Wow.
Yes. And I went to 3 different doctors. It wasn't until the 4th one, and this was only because my mom was at her oncologist, and while in the waiting room, she told someone my story, like my daughter needs to like find a doctor to listen to her. And so the lady next to her told her, "Oh, go to this doctor." And I went, and I mean that by January of 2021, the resident doctor was all like, "No, I believe you. I'm gonna send you to a breast doctor." And then from there, like from January, all of January was like exams, and by February 11th, I already had my diagnosis
Wow. And
of
had you heard
2021.
when you talked about other family members who had cancer, had you ever heard of triple negative breast cancer at that time?
No, no. My mom had cancer, and her two sisters had breast cancer in their, I believe they were in their 30s.
Wow.
And then my cousin also had breast cancer, but I had never heard of triple negative.
Wow. So, as far as you know, none of the other folks in your family had triple negative breast cancer.
Yeah, that I know of, no.
Yeah. And so, when you first heard those words, triple negative breast cancer, you didn't know what that meant. So, how did that go when they explained it to you?
I was kind of shocked. They kind of like told me, we don't know where it comes from. They explained me what the HER2 positive was, and they're like, that one we can, hormones, but then they're like triple negative is something that is still being studied. And I was like, okay, so where does that leave me at? And they're like, you're just gonna have to fight.
Wow. That's a little bit scary for them to put it that way. So, for those of you watching, so basically, triple negative breast cancer does not respond to hormone therapy, but fortunately, it does respond better to chemo than other breast cancers do. However, it's very important that you catch triple negative breast cancer early because it is more rare and aggressive. So, what did they do for you then? Did you have surgery? Did you talk about treatments? What happened next?
So when they first diagnosed me, February 11th, they told me I was triple negative stage 3C. That was,
Wow.
but then two weeks later, I guess, and they were like, we're still pending exams, but this is what it looks like. And so I'm like, okay, I don't know. It happened so quickly. It was like from 1 to 2 weeks that they were like, you have stage 4. They're like, it
You're
has
kidding me.
metastasized.
Oh my gosh. And how old were you when they told you it was metastatic?
I was 37.
37. Wow. And so was this 2021 by this time? You
Yes.
mentioned it was during COVID, so okay. Wow. So what did they do next? What's the treatment?
So there was a lot of like back and forth with the insurance, and I was kind of like, I need to get my port. And I was literally in the with the doctor by the nurse who calls the insurance to like verify. And I was like, I'm not leaving until you guys like get me my port. So within that same day, that afternoon, they were like, okay, go to the hospital, get your port. The next day I had chemo, which was the one that they call the red devil.
Right, right.
And oh, I had 4 of those. And during this time, I'm getting chemo and my mom's getting chemo.
Oh
So
my
one week
gosh, were
she's
you all
getting
at
chemo.
the same facility?
Yes. So
So you
we
like could
had to,
carpool?
well, they wanted us to do that, but I would get sick after my chemo. Like I would
Yeah.
start throwing up.
Oh no.
And so then I told her, you're going to have to take me 1 week and I'm going to have to take you another week. Because by the second week, I felt better. It was usually that same week of the chemo is when I I was down. Like I did not have any energy.
Right.
And so by the second week, I was like, oh, like nothing had happened. And so that's how we were. 1 week her, 1 week me. And I did those 4 Red Devils. And then in between, I I asked for a break. I told them I couldn't handle, like I couldn't handle going into Taxel right away.
So what did they say when you told them that you were getting sick or when they saw that you were getting sick? Did they give you anything for that?
Well, they gave me for the nausea, but it made it worse. And so at first I told them like I threw up like 30 minutes after they had like released me from getting the chemo, and they were like, but you're not supposed to like throw up so quickly. That's what they told me. And I'm like, but I'm not feeling really good. And so then the second one, it happened again, and they were
So
like,
it
"Okay,
was a
take
deal
the."
where it was like before you even left the treatment
Mhm.
center, you would get sick. Wow.
I would get sick, and my mom would be like, "You need to go eat," and she would, like, drag me to go eat at the restaurant, but I told I couldn't. I threw up, and I would just tell her, "Just take me home," because the from I would get chemo on a Friday, so Friday and Saturday, it was just vomiting, and I did not feel good. By Sunday, I was okay, but I couldn't really eat, and so they tried, like, different stuff, like, different cocktails before giving me the chemo, and it just wasn't working.
Did they have you on any? Because, like I know when I went through chemo treatment, they had me on like medication that I would take leading up to my treatment to keep me from getting sick. Because one of the things about chemo is it affects your any fast dividing cells, and you have a lot of fast dividing cells in your digestive tract. So you have a lot of heartburn and nausea and things like that. You get mouth sores, anything in your digestive tract. So they had me taking medication in advance of the chemo treatment, not just within like the IV that they would give you, but actual pills in advance. Did they do anything like that for you?
A steroid. They had me on a steroid. They said that was gonna make me feel better, but I stopped the steroid myself because it didn't make me feel better.
Wow.
I don't remember the name of it, but they would tell me, "Take it 3 days before your chemo,
Right, right.
and a after the chemo, wait, like, 24 hours because they gave me, like, a little device, and I would put it on my stomach, and then I would, like, have to lay down. I don't know what the device was called, but after every chemo, I had a little device that I would put on, and I don't know what it would release, and then they would tell me, "Take the steroids after,"
Uh-huh. Was it
and
the device something that gave you a shot or anything?
yes, and then
Okay.
it
So that was probably the last shot. So after you have chemo, your white blood cells can drop a lot, which makes your immune system compromised. So they'll give you that Neulasta shot, which is supposed to help boost your white blood cell count. So that's probably what that was. Lots of stuff going on. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
yes, it was scary because me going through it with my mom was just really scary, and then knowing that it had metastasized, and they were just, "We'll see what happens."
Wow. So
And
after you finished the Red Devil, you said that they were going to start Taxel, but you told them that you didn't want to do that yet. So how long did you wait before you started it?
I waited 3 weeks and a half. I actually a part of it was because we really wanted to see, the Astros, well, the Red Sox versus the Astros, and so I had, told the doctor, like, "I don't wanna take chemo because I wanted a break and I wanted to live for a moment."
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, like, hey, I don't want to forget to live. I've got all this going on, and yeah, I get it.
And so, when I came back, I was like, "Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to do chemo," and he was very worried. He's all like, "We can't, uh, I guess, like, separate the chemos for so long," but I told him, like, "I need to live, and I feel like my body really needs the rest."
Yeah. So were they able to start that Taxol treatment?
Yes, they started it, as soon as I got back from my mini vacation, uh, they started it right away, and so it was for 16 weeks.
Uh huh.
Yeah, so I would go once a week, uh, and then that was it. Because I saw my mom, we had, I carried the BRCA1 gene, and so did my mom. Uh, she went to, MD Anderson, and after a while, they put her on Lep Lynparza. And so after she had finished chemo the first time, when her cancer came back, They told her, okay, no more Laparza. We're gonna do the carbo one. And so when I was done with my chemo, I was like, okay, so what's next? Like, am I gonna go on a pill? Am I gonna go? And they were like, no, you're just gonna have surgery, and we'll find out, if it fully worked, because they had already done scans and there was nothing was showing up. And so when I had surgery, I finished chemo August. Yeah, August. And then I had my surgery in September, my double mastectomy.
Wow. And
Uh,
so you did the double mastectomy, and did you have reconstruction at that point?
yes, they did the expanders. And so that I I didn't like that part. I didn't like it. The expanders, and when they removed and put implant, I did that was not for myself. I If I could go back, I would have said no.
Really? So the
Mhm.
reconstruction process was a lot for you, huh?
Yes, it was a lot, and I actually got reconstruction just last year again because they removed the implant
Uh-huh.
and they did the flap one,
Uh-huh.
and so I was like, oh, it was a lot for my body.
Wow. So you finished that reconstruction. How are you feeling now after all that?
I'm feeling better. I just completed. Well, this year will be 5 years. So in September will be 5 years from when I got my um, double mastectomy, and then that's when they told me that I had no evidence of anything. So they removed lymph nodes, and they said I was clear that the chemo had worked, and that I got that done in 2021, and just last month they removed my port. I was going on 5 years with my port.
Wow. Did your was your mom diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer also?
No, her first diagnosis was ovarian, and so then they removed all of that. Uh, she had a hysterectomy, and then she was clear. She was 1 year. Yeah, she had been cleared for a whole year when her cancer came back, and I'm not too sure of the name. It was like a P, and then like what I remember, and then slash leukemia, and then as I got better, she started declining. So
Gosh.
she started declining. She helped me with my when I had my double mastectomy. Like, she was moving, and even though she was going through chemo, she really helped me, like, heal. And then shortly after that is when she started declining, and I was going through radiation by January and February, and by February of 2022, she passed away. The day 2 days before I was supposed to get my hysterectomy, she ends up passing away. So I wasn't able to get my hysterectomy during that time.
Oh my gosh. So when was that she passed away when you do that math? What year was that?
She February of 2022.
Wow. Gosh, that's a lot. You going through so much. Wow. I can't you're like smiling. I don't even know how. So much that's happened. So you mentioned that you had stage 4 breast cancer and that you were metastatic, but that they're saying now that you're clear, is that right?
Yes. So they told me that it was the I don't know, like, the rate was like 5 years, and they were like, if you can make it past the 5 years, then you're good. So I was all like, okay. So my little son, he counts the years, and he's like, we're getting to 5 years, mom. We're getting to 5 years.
How old is your
So
son?
he is now 9.
So he was counting those with you, and your doctors were like, okay, hit the 5 year mark is what you need to hit for triple negative breast cancer.
Mm, yeah.
So whenever you had the tumor removed, do you recall what the size of it was?
Well, the chemo actually worked. There was no mass when they went in there. Uh, so they did a PET scan and everything, and they couldn't find no evidence of anything. And before that, when I got diagnosed, the mass was size of a golf ball.
Wow. And
Yeah.
and you said you hadn't really felt it, but probably didn't feel that big when you felt it, did it?
Oh no, it actually started growing a lot faster um, when I got my biopsy.
That's crazy. Wow. What a story. So let's see. You had your Red Devil, saw the Astros play.
Well, we were going because of the Red Sox.
Yeah. Oh, really? So you're for the Red Sox, not the Astros?
Yeah, we were there for the Red Sox.
That's funny. There's somebody on our board who's from Boston. I'll have to let her know that she's a breast cancer survivor too, so
Oh,
she'll love hearing that, the Boston Red Sox. So, and you took that little quote vacation, then you went back and did your Taxol, then you had your double mastectomy, got the expanders, and then had some reconstruction. What's the plan moving forward with your breasts? Are they, I know a lot of times they have to do revision surgeries. Do you know what the plan is for that?
so I got the implants removed last year. In one of the MRIs, it has shown up that they had ruptured. It took a whole year for the insurance to approve to remove them. So then last year, I believe it was August, I got them removed, and then I got the the I always get it all confused. The flap where they remove the skin from the tummy area
Yeah,
and put it
I think it's called like a D flap or something like that. I'm trying to remember.
yeah,
I didn't have that surgery, so I don't know for sure. I'm sure somebody will comment in the comments here in a second, and I'll be like, oh yeah, that's what it's called.
I have had so many surgeries and so many minor stuff that I get everything so confused. I even get my doctors confused because I have so many of them, and I feel so bad when I call them the wrong name. But uh, but I got that surgery done in August, and so the plastic surgeon was just like, we're just gonna monitor the breast because of the fat, just to make sure like it doesn't die. And no lumps are like created. And he said throughout the years I can get like lipo, but I do not like lipo. I had it in the past because of the breast implants, and I don't know. It just takes a toll on your body.
Yeah, it sounds like your body's been through quite a lot. Um, you mentioned getting sick from the Red Devil. Did the Taxol make you sick as well?
It made me just a lot of bone pain. I had a lot of bone pain and a little bit of nausea, not as bad as the Red Devil. And and my fingernails, I don't know if it was because of the Red Devil or the Taxol, but my fingernails were so sensitive. Like super, super sensitive. Like I couldn't touch anything, or like if somebody, like my kids would try to hold my hand, I would be like, "Ow," because they literally
Yeah.
felt like they were gonna fall off.
Yeah, it says like could have been maybe some neuropathy or something with that, and then like we were talking earlier when we talk about how chemo kills all fast dividing cells. We were talking about digestive system, but other fast dividing cells are located in your hair and your skin and your fingernails. So it makes sense why that would happen. That sucks, man. And how are they doing now? Are you much better now?
Yes, well, I do have neuropathy,
You
and
do.
it's on the tip of my fingers and on the tip of my toes. So when I touch certain things, I can't tell you material wise, like if it all feels the same. Like I can't say like, oh, that's plastic or that's it just all feels the same. And it just the other day I was telling my friend, I was like, I feel like my fingers are burning, like just the tips, but from the inside. I was like, I've never had that sensation. And I was like, I don't want to make another doctor visit. I feel like I
So
bother them.
so that's still happening even today, you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
They had told me it was gonna go away, but it never did.
Yeah, yeah. You should talk to them about it. They might be able to do something. There might be something for you. Have you been taking any gabapentin or anything like that? Did they give you
No,
anything
they
like that?
didn't prescribe me any of that. The only thing I'm taking right now is a blood thinner and something for the digestive system. That's that's it. Because I got a stent. Um, after I got the second reconstruction, I got
Uh-huh.
a stent placed in like a month after.
Wow. It's even more stuff.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy. Well, how is your aunt doing? You said, well, you had, how many aunts did you have that had breast cancer? Because I know you had one that passed away, right?
Two. They both passed. My the second aunt, uh, they both had gotten both my aunts had gotten breast cancer when they were in their 30s. Many years passed. They ended up getting breast cancer around the same time when my mom got diagnosed with ovarian cancer. So my aunt who passed away in October of 2020, my mom passed away February of 2022. And then my aunt who had beat breast cancer, she ended up passing, I believe it was May of 2022.
Wow, that's a lot. So, how much is your father still around and you still have other family?
No, my dad passed away in 2007, and he passed away from ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have any siblings?
Yes, I have two sisters, um, and they do not carry the gene, which I'm very thankful that they don't because they have girls. Like one, my little sister has two daughters, and my older sister has a daughter.
That's something we were actually talking about earlier. Is if you carry the gene, you can pass it on to a male, and it could put them at higher risk for other cancers. So definitely get that checked out when you can. I can't remember the age that they can do that, but you can check with your doctor to find out when your son can be genetically tested. Do you said you had more than the one son, right? You have other children.
Yes, I have an older son. He's 14, and then my 9-year-old. My 14 is he's 6'4". He's so tall, um, and he's my history buff. Like he loves history. He's everywhere we go. We have to go to a museum because
That's
I don't know
cool.
half of the stuff that he says, but I just agree.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
You're a street buff. Well, wow. So all the way from stage four metastatic to cancer free and just some neuropathy and such a horrible line of cancer in your family. I'm glad that you're going to stay on top of that and make sure that everybody gets all the testing that they need to so that they can know their risk of breast cancer, especially triple negative breast cancer. So it's just such a rare and aggressive form and so important to stay on top of your health, be an advocate. So could you tell us, Carolina, a couple of things, or maybe one main thing that you took away from going through breast cancer that you felt was actually good?
Um, I want to say serving others and keeping busy. I think that's what I took from and okay, I guess three things: serving others, keeping busy, and living life.
Those are good ones. Those are really
Yeah.
good. You do. I need to say this because Jen Roper, who is in the broadcast right now watching, she just commented that neuropathy is very treatable from someone treated for neuropathy. So she has neuropathy and she gets treated for it. So she's just encouraging you to be sure that you get that checked out. She's saying for her, gabapentin really did help. So you get that checked, and then you have to check back
Yes.
in with me, Carolina, and let me know. You're going to have to message me or Izzy and let us know how you're doing and if you're able to get that fixed, okay?
Okay.
I'm counting on you for this.
Yes, I definitely yes, because this whole burning thing, it just feels so weird.
Yeah, it's not
It
fun, man.
no.
Yeah, not cool. Well, man, I thank you so much for joining, and I will definitely let you know next time we're down in the Mission, Texas area again playing a show so we can be in person. That'd be really cool.
Yes, that would.
Awesome. Well, have a great evening, girl, and please do stay in touch, okay?
Okay. Thank you
Take
for having me.
Sure. Bye bye.
Bye.
All right, everybody, give it up for Carolina. So cool having her here tonight. Again, we're just so grateful for all of the different survivors who've joined the show this evening. Stacy, Amy, Abby, and Carolina, all four wonderful breast cancer, triple negative breast cancer survivors. We're really grateful to be able to tell their story, to inspire and provide hope for others, and just to share their bravery and courage in going through this disease.